I've just realized I am probably the last person on earth to watch this show on time. Hello, amazing humans on the net. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today I want to do a little bit different video because I want to recommend you books based on a TV show. So, a few months ago, my husband and I watched together Mare of Easttown, which is a TV show that is now 4 years old. So yes, we were a bit late to the party, but better late than never, because the show was truly excellent. This was probably the best show we have seen for a while, and if you agree, then please continue watching, because I am going to recommend you some books that I think you will enjoy if you enjoyed Mare of Easttown. Now, for those of you who haven't watched Mare of Easttown, this is a story of a weary female detective in a small Pennsylvania town as she investigates the murder of a young woman, while also wrestling with her personal grief, family relationships, and also feeling a heavy weight of her local community struggles. The main character is played by Kate Winslet, who did a stunning job in this show. She's not wearing any makeup, and that almost reflects the atmosphere of this show, which is brutally honest, very unfiltered. The characters in there are raw and flawed. The cinematography is gorgeous in a sense that it's very gritty and muted to reflect the story as it evolves, and you have very much a perfect pacing because you've got this slow burn tension, but then it's interrupted by these sort of almost like emotional beats that suddenly appear, and of course you have a finale that is shocking but also deeply human. This is a crime drama that I like best, which is where crime is just the gateway to tell a deeper story. And in this show, the story is really about grief, loss, addiction, economic decline, but also it is about connection and redemption. So let's jump into the books. First up, Long Bright River by Liz Moore, which I read in July, and I talked about it in my monthly reading wrap-up. This is the book that actually inspired me to do this video, because it did have very much the Mare of Easttown vibes, for me at least, in a sense that it is also a character-driven crime story set in working class community that is affected by addiction, and it also explores motherhood and fractured family relationships alongside the investigation. This is set in a very gritty Philadelphia neighborhood where we've got also a female police officer who is searching for her sister, her missing sister, while there is also a string of murders happening in the local community connected to the opioid crisis. So again, here we have crime investigation, but we have first and foremost a deeply personal family drama. I am very much convinced that if you liked the Mare of Easttown, you will love Long Bright River. The next book I'd like to recommend is Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. Obviously, super hyped book, so I would be very surprised if you haven't heard about it yet. But if by any chance you haven't read it, if you liked Mare of Easttown, I think you will like this book as well. Here we have a troubled female journalist this time, who returns to her small town to report on a couple of murders of 2 young girls, and while she's doing that, she also needs to confront her own traumatic past and her dysfunctional family. So again, we have generational trauma, and we have that dark underbelly of small town life. There are definitely triggers in this book. Please look them up. This is not an easy read, but if you're not affected by the triggers, I highly recommend this, because just like in the Mare of Easttown, here you have also a woman grappling with personal demons while solving a crime in, again, an insular town where everyone has secrets. I don't have a copy of the next book. I read this a while ago. I think I had a library copy, and that is The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. Again, very well-known book, but if you missed it, you need to read it now, especially if you liked Mare of Easttown. Why? Because this book, just like Mare of Easttown, blends psychological complexity with crime and has this very much a broken female lead who is navigating her broken relationships and trying to find truth that is buried in many lies. If you want a quick synopsis, here we follow an alcoholic woman who is becoming entangled in a missing persons case after witnessing something suspicious while she's traveling on her train during her usual commute to work. Again, amongst other themes of obsession, unreliable memory, also domestic violence, we have this theme of isolation. Next we have The Red Room by Nikki French, which I read twice. I have read all of the books written by this duo, and The Red Room is one of their older books. It is probably a little bit dated now, but at its core still very much excellent. We follow a psychologist who works with the police. Her name is Kit, and in the very beginning of the book she is brutally attacked by a prisoner. So she is then left not just physically but very much emotionally scarred. She is then involved also in an investigation of a murder in which that prisoner is also a suspect. But the reason why I picked this book is because here also we have very much this independent and strong woman who is forced to confront her pain and her vulnerabilities, I guess, while at the same time managing the pressures of her profession. Next book, When the Stars Go Dark by Paula McLean. Really good book, where this time we have a missing persons detective who is returning to her hometown to really heal from something that has happened in her life, but she does become involved in a search for a missing girl. Both this book and Mare of Easttown share this brooding, very much atmospheric tone, and both protagonists, they are weighed down while at the same time trying to save others. This is very well written, by the way. You don't learn the full story of the main character until towards the end of the book. And again, just like in the show, great commentary on grief and also on resilience. The next book is The Wolf Border by Sarah Hall. Not a crime focused this time, but just like the show, there is that tension between personal freedom and your duties towards your family. And just like in the show, you also have this very much raw and very much atmospheric backdrop. So here we follow not a detective this time, but a woman who is specializing in wolves. And she goes back to her home ground, which is Lake District, where she is tasked with rewilding these wolves. And as she's doing that, she also needs to confront various family entanglements. We have themes of family independence, personal independence, family obligations, and the main character that is so complex and so well written. She's a little bit broken and she's trying to, despite everything, put the pieces of the puzzle of her life together. And finally, we have Missing Presumed by Susie Steiner. The reason why I picked up this book as a recommendation for this video is because, just like in Mare of Easttown, here the emphasis is on the main character, who is this female detective, her relationships, her resilience, her vulnerabilities, and her own personal struggles. Because of the type of crime that is in this book, you also have quite well done commentary on privilege, on loneliness, I guess, as well, and also on moral complexities of justice. This is set in Cambridge, where a postgraduate woman goes missing, and as the detective investigates this, she is uncovering all kinds of secrets. But as mentioned, really we become invested in the detective's life more so than in the victim's life. So that's it. These are the 7 books I wanted to recommend to you based on Mare of Easttown. I do hope there is going to be season 2. I have also just started watching Along Bright River based on Liz Moore's book. I'm only into episode 2. Looks like it is very well done, but obviously not as good as the book. Do let me know if you would like me to do similar videos in relation to maybe other TV shows. Happy to face the challenge. Meanwhile, thank you very much for watching. I need to be wrapping this up because it's getting dark and I'm very worried I am going to be losing some serious light soon. I'll see you next week as usual. Bye for now.